Welcome to my channel, Bring Peace into Your Life. Today I would like to talk about self-esteem, what self-esteem is and how you can work on your self-esteem to build your level of self-esteem and belief in yourself. So self-esteem is a belief in your worth. It's a general sense of self-acceptance, self-respect and personal worth. How you view yourself on a deeper level. Many clients I work with have very low self-esteem and they find it very difficult to believe in their value and the value that they bring to the world and to people in their life. When I work with people who have low self-esteem, I go through quite a few different steps to help them build their self-esteem and build their self-worth. And today I would like to talk about some of those steps. So one of the first steps I talk about is challenging negative self-talk. When I talk to people who have low self-esteem and find it difficult to believe in themselves, they quite often use very negative language towards themselves. And that's something that when I am working with them, I point it out and I show them that they're actually using very negative language. And when you put those words out into the universe and you use that language towards yourself, it's very easy to do that and get into a habit of doing it, but that actually diminishes your self-esteem and makes your self-esteem less the more and more you do that. So when you're challenging negative self-talk, you have to notice the automatic thoughts that criticise yourself. And once you can recognise that you have negative self-talk, you can start to actually stop yourself and question yourself and think of a better way of talking to yourself. When you are questioning that, you need to look at, is this thought really factual? What evidence is there to prove that I am a horrible person, or I'm not a good friend, or I'm a failure? It's about looking at, can I question this? Is this actually true? If I asked my partner or if I asked my best friend, do you feel that I'm a horrible person, I'm a rubbish friend, I'm not a good mother? And talk to people around you to get a boost from what they see in you, and then look at changing your self-talk to something a lot more positive. You need to try and have a balance with your self-talk. So it's not about protecting yourself all the time and saying, oh, I'm wonderful, I'm excellent. That's not what it's about. It's about being realistic. So if you tell yourself, I always mess up, I'm always getting things wrong, trying to change that self-talk. It's not about saying I'm perfect, I get everything right. It's about saying sometimes I struggle with things, but I'm actually learning and I'm working on myself and I'm developing that, and that can be really helpful. Also, building your competence is really important. So your self-esteem grows when you see yourself succeeding. If you've achieved something small, even if it's a small achievement, you should be recognising that that's an achievement and that it's something positive. Quite often it's good to track that progress, because we can quite often see what we've not done, what we've not achieved. And then if we can look at actually what we have achieved and how much we've achieved in that day or say that week, it's actually amazing when you look back and look at how far you've come. But it's quite difficult to see that when you have a lot of negative self-talk. It's also really important to treat yourself like somebody you care about. If one of your friends said to you, this is what I'm going through, or if they said to you, I'm failing, I'm rubbish, I'm not good at this, what would you say to them? How would you talk to them? You would say to them, that's not true, you're really doing well, you've been through a lot. And it's about looking at the tone that you use towards yourself, being more compassionate, understanding and patient towards yourself. When you don't have a lot of boundaries and you put a lot of energy out, that can really affect your self-esteem. So if you overexert yourself or you say yes to everything, that means that you are spreading yourself really thin. And if you are focusing on supporting other people all the time, it's not that easy to support yourself. So it's really a good idea to say no sometimes, and say no without feeling guilty, because sometimes you just have too much on and you don't need anything else to come into that. It's about taking care of yourself. And if you are in contact with people who are draining or who are disrespectful, it's quite good to reduce the contact with them, because that will help you build up your boundaries, and it will also help you think about what you need for yourself. Physical habits can be really helpful as well, and they can really affect emotional well-being. So making sure you're sleeping properly, moving your body regularly. It doesn't have to be the gym 7 days a week, but go for a walk, exercise, do some stretches, look at how you treat your body. And when you do that, you start taking care of yourself better, which then leads to less negative self-talk, which then leads to actually having more of a belief in yourself. You really need to eat well as well, and that goes hand in hand with strengthening your body and physical habits that really influence your well-being. That can also help you regulate your emotions when you help build a healthy body. It's really important to provide and build a supportive environment for yourself. So spend time with people that really value you, that really see who you are. If you surround yourself with people who believe in you, who see your worth, it's a lot easier to see your own worth, because you see yourself through their eyes. And that's very important if you can be very negative on yourself. It's also very important to not compare yourself to others. Everybody's journey is different, and it's about working on yourself and comparing yourself to, say, maybe how you were 5 years ago, but don't compare yourself to others, especially on social media. A lot of social media is very fake and false, and it's about putting the best impression out there, which means that a lot of people on social media that do that might not have the best life, they might not be actually truly genuinely happy, but people see them and think they are. So sometimes it's about taking a step back from that and not comparing yourself to other people. It's also important to have people in your life that make you feel capable, that make you feel worthy, and that can really boost your self-esteem. Self-esteem improves when you stop trying to prove your worth and start accepting your humanity. Allow yourself to make mistakes. We all make mistakes in life. We all get things wrong, and it's okay. But what you need to stop doing is beating yourself up about it. I quite often say to my clients, it sounds like you're kicking yourself when you're down, when actually, when you're down and you're struggling, that's the moment that you should be most compassionate to yourself. So it's about focusing on growth. Growth is really important, but you take one step in front of the other. It's not about a race, it's about focusing on your growth rather than any flaws. That's really important. Learning something new can really boost your sense of identity and competence, and boost your self-esteem. Learning to do something different that you've never tried before, or you've maybe always wanted to try but been scared to. Doing something different, especially something creative. So maybe like a painting or a drawing, maybe cooking a new recipe, maybe taking up a new hobby, listening to some music, journaling, things like that. It's about building up small skills and realising that actually you're good at it or you really enjoy it, and that can then boost your self-esteem even more. If you're really struggling with your self-esteem and it is something that you really need to work on, Sometimes it can be very helpful to seek support. So look for counselling. It's not a weakness to look for counselling, and I would say that as a counsellor, but I think it's very important to make sure that you're getting the right support. And if you've tried a lot of different things to build your self-esteem and it's not working, sometimes we need to look at, where does this issue with self-esteem come from? Is it tied to a trauma that I've had? Is it something that I've been doing long term? I've been criticising myself because I've learned that from childhood, or I've got that message from someone in my life that I'm not good enough, that I'm not important enough, that I am not valuable. And it's about looking at, where does that come from, and unpacking that and looking at it in therapy in a safe environment can be really helpful. And if your self-esteem is extremely low, it's about looking at, what can I do to improve this and help myself? And sometimes that needs therapy, sometimes that is what you need, and it's the only way to actually achieve that. But there are a lot of small changes that you can make yourself before you reach out to a therapist, or if you feel that it's got to that level. Affirmations are really, really helpful. And I think some people don't really know how to use affirmations. So it's about looking at being more positive about yourself, and leading back to the self-talk and the negative self-talk. Affirmations need to be what works for you. So some general affirmations will be really helpful for people. So saying, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm capable, I'm determined, I am in control of my own life. These affirmations can be very, very powerful, especially if it's not something you've used before. But what is very good is if you really put the affirmations to yourself. So I'm learning to trust myself. I am learning to be a better listener. I am learning to communicate my feelings. I'm working on becoming kinder to myself. And if you can change the general affirmations to actually specifically saying, I am doing this, I am working on myself, I am learning in this process, that can make it more real and more personal. So general affirmations can be brilliant, but sometimes you need to make it very personal to yourself, and that makes you identify that this is about you. Because it is, you can say, I am strong, I am beautiful. You may not always believe it, but the more that you build on those affirmations and the more that you make them personal. So I am working on being able to listen better. I am working on accepting myself. I am working on building my self-esteem and recognising my value. These are all very important ways to boost your self-esteem and build up your self-worth and your acceptance of yourself as you are, as a work in progress, as we all are, and that can be really, really helpful. Now, if you found this video helpful and you have ways that you have worked on your self-esteem and improved your self-esteem and your belief in yourself, please put it in the comments. You never know who's going to read that and who it may help, and that will be easier to kind of build. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I hope that I will see you in the next one.